So the last couple of months, we've been just talking about this new stage of life that we're in. And it's interesting now that Ava has gone back to school and we have three of our four kids living at home with us. How does that feel to you right now?
It is an interesting feeling because it's not bad. And I don't want to say it's not good. It's wonderful to be with them. It's just maybe not exactly how I pictured things would be right now. And sometimes I don't realize it until after the fact that I kind of am a control freak and it's not how I had it planned.
Life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And along the way, we all stumble, learn, and keep going.
Welcome to Running Ahrens, a podcast about navigating marriage, parenting, business, faith, and all the unexpected detours that come along with it.
We're Justin and Sarah Ahrens, partners in life, business, and raising four incredible kids.
For over 30 years, we've been figuring things out as we go, sometimes successfully, and sometimes, well, not so much.
But that's the beauty of hindsight. We're here to share the lessons we've learned, the wins, the failures, and the moments that have shaped us.
Through honest conversations, special guests, and maybe even a few stories from our kids, we'll explore what it really takes to grow, adapt, and move forward.
So whether you're running a business, a household, or just running late,
You're in the right place. Let's do this together.
we're glad you're here. Welcome to Running Errands. Boy, there's a lot of things there I'd like to dig into, but before,
You're laughing at the fact that I said I might be a control freak.
yeah, there's no might be.
I am willy-nilly, go with the flow.
Yeah, that is not you whatsoever.
Okay.
I want to just go back to the comment you said is you said it wasn't what you imagined. So what did you imagine?
I imagined an possibly emptier house.
Well, I know about a year ago you wrote a post on Facebook about watching our kids spread their wings, and it was loud and messy and full of goodbyes, and here we are. So how would you, does this feel completely new and unexpected, or
It's not that it feels new. It was a Facebook post I wrote about a year ago, and I talk about this a lot in that this isn't a novel idea, but it's one that I think we don't say out loud a lot, is the job of parenting is to work yourself out of the daily job. Not all of it. You never stop caring for your children, worrying about them,
right?
but the daily interactions, the daily management, the daily counsel, you plan on working yourself out of that. Like that's the
Or
goal.
you mean doing less of it?
Well, you so that your kids go on the cheesy, you give them roots so they can fly, which isn't cheesy, but kind of cheesy. It's like a accessory.
Yeah,
But parenting looks different now for us
it really does.
because we never lived with our parents at this age.
No,
We were already married for a couple of years.
that's crazy.
So I don't necessarily have muscle memory or things to look back on how I interacted with my parents while living with them in my mid 20s. It's an interesting place to be because we're not alone in this. This is a very common thing. I think I read a stat somewhere that says 1 in 3 US adults are currently living in their parents' home.
Really?
Yeah. So we're not alone in this. So maybe that's why this is a good topic for us to cover because we're in the thick of it. We don't have answers to it because a lot of things for me personally look different right now in this stage. My parenting looks different. My faith looks different. my place, how I view myself in the world, how I want to move in the world, my goals and interactions with people, and how I want to show up are all shifting. And so it's kind of interesting to try to manage all that and yet not manage it and kind of let it be a flow.
Yeah. So that was a lot there to unpack.
Well, there's a lot up here in this head of mine.
So,
You might not want to know all of it, but that's a little glimpse.
well, let's just start with the parenting side of things, because I know we talk about faith and how also you and I both individually and as a couple are evolving and changing, and we tend to talk about it, quite a bit. I mean, most mornings we will work out or get up after workout and have some coffee, and then we have this quiet time, and then we will often connect and just talk about some of these things. So, what has surprised you most about this year compared to what we imagined last fall?
How it's completely solidified the fact that I hate cooking dinner.
Well, I think this is a great point. We should dig into this. Tell the audience what you said to the kids, and I want to share with you my reflection on that.
Which thing?
You were just talking about you've been cooking and
Oh,
planning for 20 some years, and
it's 30 some
okay.
years that I have cooked 99% of the meals. Is that a fair estimate?
So when you say 30, you're tying us into our early marriage?
Yes.
I cooked a lot in early marriage.
You worked a lot. You weren't home at dinner.
Did we eat a lot in my early
Remember,
marriage?
we ate in our one apartment. It was so small we couldn't have a table, so we ate at the coffee table and
That's right.
every
That's
night.
right. That's right. Okay, so we'll go with your 30-year stat. So keep going.
This is not a feeling I am alone in. I have a lot of girlfriends in this same stage of the dreaded 4:30 question from everyone. Now, you don't ask it. I will give you this. You will literally eat anything I put in front of you. I think you've told me that in the 30 years of my cooking, there's been two unedible meals. Two, three?
Two. There was two that are memorably,
It's because I used fish sauce.
I don't know, freaking fish
I've
sauce.
stopped. I mean, that stuff is scary. Like just a little bit too much, and you are ruining things. And I made a vegetable meatloaf that was.
I actually didn't hate that. That wasn't as
Oh,
bad
I
as
hate
fish
it too.
sauce. But
But
before you go on, I would just say that thank you for saying that, but I also don't expect you to cook.
no, but you also don't think, what could I cook tonight?
That is true. Yeah.
But it's in the entailing of thinking about it, going grocery shopping, and to add to the fact that we've got the three kids living at home now, two of them work at a job that requires them to bring a lunch every day.
Mhm.
And they don't even have time if they don't have a lunch to go out and get one. They have 20 minutes in their planning period at the school. Because this is what I do, I have to think of the meals that will be enough for dinner, the leftovers, or to have what they want. And I'm just freaking tired of it because I'm happy to eat cereal. I could also eat the same thing for dinner every night of the week.
So what does this stage look like in that particular chore activity from a family standpoint? What would you ideally want it to be?
I don't want to think about it ever again. And this is interesting because my mom, when I was in high school, about I think my sophomore year of high school, my parents redid their kitchen for the first time after being in it since 1976. And it was just when my sister Elizabeth and I were at home. We were both in high school, and we couldn't use the kitchen for whatever. And we ate out a lot, or I don't remember what we did because ordering in wasn't a thing. I don't remember what we did, but my mom didn't cook. And then once the kitchen got finished, she really never went back to it. And at that point, she'd been married for, oh, because they got married in 1960. So this is 25. This is about the same time as
Mhm.
we were. And I remember thinking as a high school student, this is so ridiculous. My mom doesn't even cook dinner anymore. Mom, if you're listening, so sorry I thought of that. I totally get it and understand why. Because, and it seems like I'm getting angry about this, and I have to maybe dig into that in therapy, what that means. But for me right now, I just
Angry at your mom or angry at us?
No, I'm not angry at anyone. It's just I'm resenting the fact that I have to think about this. I also realize it's the world I created.
Oh, so maybe you're mad at you.
Well, I don't know about that, but
That's just me being a smartass.
yeah, no, I just say it's a silly thing to even like spend emotional energy on. It kind of goes against my mantra. Is it really worth the emotional expenditure? But the reality is this, I don't want to worry about dinner. And then I have to be really transparent also. Is I get a little irritated with my children, and I've said this to their face, so this is not talking out of school. But if I don't cook and I say I have food in the house that needs to be prepared, they often ask me, "Oh, will you pay for us to go get dinner at X restaurant, fast food?" And I'm like, "Hell nah. Cook or pay for it yourself." So how do you feel when I get this worked up about grocery shopping and meal preparation?
Well, I did create an amazing solution for you.
You did. I used it, but it still requires me to go in and put effort forth and think about it and plan.
Yeah, so for everyone, I am very much into AI and creating custom AI experiences. And so I downloaded a year's worth of our local grocery store shopping, put in the recipes I can remember, added all of the different websites Sarah typically gets recipes from, even put in our personal calendar and the weather just to try to coordinate everything to make it as easy as possible. Now, I will say this wasn't to abdicate any support on this.
No, and I
I
didn't
was
mean
actually
it that
trying to
way.
make a fun experience for you.
No, and I appreciate the effort. Again, it just goes back to the fact of I would really, I like in this idyllic idea I have of this stage of life, it would be me or you or together going to the grocery store and figuring out what we want for the next 2 days.
So let me be clear, since we're having this conversation on our podcast, I am all in on the grocery store. I went to the grocery store for you with you for a while in the last year and a half, and we've gotten out of practice. So I'm all in on that and helping the groceries and doing all that sort of thing. And I've been really trying to get into a consistent cooking pattern, and I have failed.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have gloriously.
So I think let's just talk about something else that we've shared. I think you and I collectively have been poor at following through and making our kids do things.
Agreed. I always have critiqued, I think I might have mentioned this in an earlier episode and critiqued, well, judged when the kids were younger, what people would be deemed as a helicopter parent of hovering over them, making sure they don't get hurt, which was certainly not the kind of parents you and I were. Our kids were doing things, and we didn't even know about some of them, but they were injured
Well,
and they were dirty and they broke things and things broke in our house and all of those things, good,
yeah,
bad, or otherwise. But we
well,
weren't helicopter parents.
no, but we were having this conversation the other day with another parents, and that was we were very strict and had rules around them, but we also were willing to give them an opportunity to skin their knee and to have their own adventures because we trusted them.
Yeah, but what I was leading to was I've realized that I learned a new term in recent years of a bulldozer parent, of you bulldoze some obstacles out of their way. Now, I did not bulldoze all obstacles, but there was a lot of things that I took care of, managed, handled that wasn't maybe the best service to them because now I'm seeing them as adults, maybe not able to take on those responsibilities as easily as they should because they haven't had the opportunity to learn how to do some of the things. Now, it's not everything and it's not universal, but it's just certain things. I think both of my girls would admit I don't want to say I did a poor job, but I didn't really push. This is kind of interesting with gender roles, a whole other thing, but our girls really don't know how to cook very much, but our boys do.
Oh yeah, the boys
The
cook
boys
all the
cook
time.
all the time. Now, generally it's for themselves, which is fine. We'll cross that bridge. But the girls, and I love you both girls, they really don't know how to cook too many things.
Not yet.
Now, this isn't about ability.
No, and I wasn't. I'm just saying that it's not obviously too late for
So
them to learn.
I'm going back as like I didn't. push them into these tools to make them cook dinner and do all these things. Now, again, I can go back and they were busy with sports or they were working. So again, it just seems such, as I talk about this, it's like wah wahs. There are bigger problems in the world to deal with. But it just adds to some of the frustrations I have with this phase of life where frankly, I want to be selfish. I want to be a little more
Well,
selfish.
and I think what's just coming to me right now is when we got married, we had expectations of what that was like, and we struggled and figured that out as best we could, and then we became parents, and again, we talked about how we parented different and had different backgrounds, and so we fell into these roles, right or wrong, we took these roles up, and now we're at this point where those roles can be redefined because there's not some of the same requirements. There was times in our marriage where I was going to work every day and you weren't, but you were working because you were taking care of the kids. And I had expectations that all of that stuff would be taken care of by you.
Oh,
Conveniently for me. And again,
exceptionally
and
conveniently.
I'm not letting myself off the hook. And I'm sure we'll talk about that too someday. But here we are. And this is how I feel. I feel like we're in this new time where we're redefining so much. So let's talk about, for example, full circle moments. Right now in our home, Jackson is graduated and home and coaching at Batavia.
Taking a gap year, yes.
Yep, before he goes and gets his master's degree. What do you feel about that scenario?
Well, right now his thought is he wants to be a school psychologist. So he has chosen to go work back at Batavia High School as a paraprofessional, and he also got the opportunity to be a freshman football coach.
Well, let's talk about, just for those who may not know, what is a paraprofessional?
Oh, paraprofessional is someone who assists in the special education classrooms.
So that could be someone with special needs or behavioral
Yeah,
challenges, that sort of. Okay.
any within the spectrum there. And he worked within the classroom, not necessarily one-on-one with a student, which some pairs do that, but his role is not, which he thought this would be a good exposure for him to be in the population that he thinks he wants to work in. And then he's also coaching, he's actually coaching freshman and seventh grade football. He's doing it, he does love it, but he was nervous when it started.
Of course, his
And
first job. I mean, postgraduate college
yeah,
job.
but I'm talking like a coaching wise.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Coaching
yeah.
wise. And he was telling me that he just didn't know what kind of coach he was going to be. And because I can't keep my mouth shut in moments like that and let them just discover things, I suggested and didn't tell him, but I suggested that he be the kind of coach that he needed as a scared incoming freshman.
And what was his response to that?
Well, with Jackson, he doesn't give you tons of feedback, but since the season has started, because it was all summer and they've started the season now, he's coming home and tells us his stories. And the stories he's telling me is he has taken on that role a little bit. And I think it serves him well. But it's really good to see your kids in a situation where they're thriving and starting to put the pieces together about their future.
Yeah, and I know he and I, well, all of the kids, we've talked before about how incredibly important a positive coach relationship. It's just the biggest factor for them to continue to love sports and be a part of it and share that. So we had talked earlier about how 1 in 3 U.S. adults aged 18 to 34 currently live with their parents. So Jackson, we just talked about, he's home. Quinn came home from North Central, which is just about a half hour from our house, and now he's going to be commuting. And so he and Jackson, for the first time, are now not rooming together. Quinn went and reclaimed his room that he probably only was in for what, a few months when he moved in here?
Yeah. And now it's a little bit like a fraternity house up here.
Yeah, it pretty much is. And Mackenzie is at home as well, working as a professional at Batavia. So Jackson and Kenzie are at school together, which I find charming that they get to spend time together.
Listening to them download their days together, I just sit there and get some popcorn and listen to the entertainment.
Yeah, and I think Ava's at Iowa, and even when they're all home, we had been struggling with just what our house rules now
Mm,
with sharing space with adult kids. So it's our house. It's our house, right? It's our family house.
yes.
With that said, to your point, when you and I are together, we fall into a rhythm. We do these things together, or we do these chores, or we take turns, or whatever. And what are our expectations now with chores and shared responsibilities? Because to your point about grocery shopping and cooking, they are capable of doing that and supporting us on that. And since we're paying for it, expectation. So, how do you want to unwind that?
Well, we start to look at things. I shouldn't say we, I'll speak for myself. I start to look at things as though they don't need to ask me for permission to do things, to go out or to stay out late. We don't have curfews. Obviously, they're adults and they were in college, but there is my expectation of awareness of plans, just so I can have expectations of, are you going to come home tonight? Are you going to be around for dinner? And so we've had to have conversations that express that. And it's not about knowing the intimate details of their day, which I'm always happy to talk to them, but I just wanted to know, are you coming home? And also part of it is because we have to plan for where the cars are parked
Right. So
in
you
the driveway.
get out in the
So if
morning.
someone is leaving early, they have the ability to, so it takes communication. It's about communication. It's although we aren't, I don't look at them as roommates, but we are cohabitating now with five separate schedules that we are not in charge of their schedule anymore, right? And have line of sight on it. So it's communication. And also, this is our shared space and our shared home. So if things need to be done, just do it.
Yeah, we talk about if we go to Costco and put stuff in the fridge, and then I go in to get flavored water, and there's three empty boxes in there. And
Oh, goodness. I emptied three freaking empty cartons out of the refrigerator today. We have a small fridge. It's like our drink fridge. Three.
yeah, so kids, if you're listening, let's step it up there. With that said, I think every one of our kids will approach chores and do things a little differently. And again, I think one of the items that you and I have been talking about is we've, of course, did things, in my opinion, really well when we were younger parents, but there are some things like reinforcing expectations of responsibilities at home that I think we need to be better at.
Agreed. I mean, we can always nitpick what we did. We were always trying our best. We always had good intentions. Did we mess up? Did we fail? Did we make mistakes? Yes. And can we still help them? It's just this really interesting space of how they want to be interacted with, how we want them to interact with us. Because it is interesting, like the last 3 nights, which is very crazy for us. We've gone out 3 nights in a row.
I know we're so social.
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't know.
They were like, "What do you mean you're going out? Where are you going? What are you doing?"
Did they ask what was for dinner?
They have stopped that since my last explosion. But then when you're traveling
Yeah.
and one of them doesn't know, they're like, "What do you mean? You didn't tell me that."
Oh, that's interesting.
Because you leave so early when you do travel to Arizona. You leave the house 4:30 in the morning on
Yeah.
Mondays,
Yeah.
and they'll get up for it and they're like, "Where's Dad?" I'm like, "He's in Arizona for the next 3 days." He never told me that. So it's just an interesting space to be in.
65% of parents with adult children at home report household tension about chores. We can relate to that.
Hmm.
Responsibilities, yes. And money, for sure.
Yes. This
What?
is an interesting question that I would like to pose to our listeners,
Oh,
and maybe we get feedback on this.
okay.
So, if your adult children post college come back and live with you, do you charge rent? Do you ask them to contribute to some household expenses? Nothing ridiculous, but do we do that?
Well, I believe,
We don't. Like just putting it out there, we don't. But we're starting to wonder if we should have.
well, to be clear, we know their finances at some level. And so we are asking them to pay for some things in their life if they can afford it,
Yes,
like car insurance.
we
We
do
don't
turn
pay for
over
their,
car insurance. They are on our family phone plan, but they have to pay me.
we don't pay for their gas.
They are on our insurance plan, but they cover their co-pays unless it's something ridiculous.
I just want to say we're not charging them nothing.
Well, we're not charging them nothing. And when I say rent, I'm not saying market value rent. Because even with the phone, and I've said this to the two that do this, I have to remind them every month. And if I don't remind them, I won't get it. And sometimes they get behind. So the other day I said, I want you to know if you were on your own plan, your phones would be turned off. Just let's be real.
How'd that conversation go?
I know, I know.
Yeah.
So these are just like questions I'm noodling because I want to make sure I'm creating contributor. I'm not creating, that's so arrogant. I'm helping them become contributory adults to society, to be a good roommate, to be a good partner or spouse.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting to me is the stage of life we're in now is that we are open to getting feedback, sharing feedback, trying things. It's not so black and white for us anymore. It's how can we set boundaries or approach things in life that are not so fixed, and yet we fall through on those things. There's my point is there isn't just one way for everything.
No, not at all. There are certain non-negotiables like don't lie, don't steal.
Don't drink my bourbon.
They don't. Well, not everyone likes bourbon in the house. Me and you and Jack. I'll frame it as second half of life. Part of that post that I wrote going back to that, which was kind of the inspiration for us talking about this for this
Yeah,
episode. We're
because you did a follow-up post a year later.
talking about how it looks different
Right.
because I was talking about how they're leaving and my role has changed. But since then, that was written a year ago. This last year for us has been transformative. That's not really
No, transformative would work, I think.
just it was
Evolutionary?
evolutionary. It was a year.
Yeah.
It was a year. And I've realized as I walk into this second half of life, and this is a reference back to someone who Justin and I both have read a lot. I'm really deep into some of his books right now. He's Father Richard Rohr. He's an Anglican priest, but he would be described more as a mystic. Hope that word didn't scare some of our listeners out there. He talked about the second half of life, and it doesn't mean your number. Like, it doesn't mean halfway through your life numerically or chronologically is a better way to describe it. But it's more about in your first half of life, you are constructing how you view life, how you view your faith, how you interact with others, how you think about the world. And a lot of people stay in that space. They construct this a certain way based on their programming, their family of origin, anything.
Comfort.
Comfort,
Yeah.
what helps them navigate the world in a way that they can manage. And then if you step into that second half of life, that is what he described as deconstruction, where you start to deconstruct and knock down the walls, parameters, boundaries, thought processes that you held dear to for a long time.
Belief systems.
Belief systems, faith systems, how you view family, how you view your role in the world, how you take up space. And it's an unnerving space to be in because you don't know things are constant. For me, it was
Hmm.
constant questions, constant digging, constant. How do I feel about this? I've thought this way about it very strongly for a very long time. I'm now thinking about it differently. And then you take another step into reconstruction and creating the world with these how you operate in the world with these new, bigger thoughts.
Yes.
And also you start to look at the world non-duistically,
Yes. Do it.
non-dualistically.
Yeah.
I didn't say the L, I think the first team. But regardless, it's the yes
And
and. Both things can be true at the same time,
yeah.
which I find freeing space to be. But,
No, I would say and you did it initially.
oh no.
It felt scary.
So this is a very long explanation of why in this role, where I'm in this space with me personally as a parent, I'm starting to move into a role of less fixing or bulldozing, more listening, fewer answers, and more questions. And that's in every aspect. It's not just with my children. I think with you. So I'm looking at my faith, my body, my work, my space in this world. I'm really kind of the big thought of my life right now is I want to take up space. I don't even know what that means, but that's kind of the overarching theme. And I'm constantly asking, what now?
Hmm.
So, as I confess all this to our listeners, you have been a front row seat to this for the last few years.
Hmm.
How does this make you feel?
Well, I think there are times where it feels very unnerving, uncomfortable. What else? Sometimes I feel disconnected from,
From me?
from you.
Yes.
And at the same time, seeing that I'm doing similar but different work, I realize that some of those things I'm detaching from the need of you doing certain things for me. Working on expectations as we get into this next stage of life. But then on the flip side, it makes me proud of you. I learn from you. You inspire me about things. You also frustrate the hell out of me about some things.
Well, that's been par for the course
Yeah,
since the beginning.
yeah. But all in all, I will take all of it. 'Cause to me, it feels exciting because we're not staying in one spot, right? We're evolving. So how does that land?
That's about right. And I'm getting more comfortable with discomfort. And I'm not talking physical discomfort. A lot more of it is the emotional discomfort. My job for so long was I made sure everyone was comfortable. Everyone was comfortable at the cost of my self-care.
I'm going to agree with you there, but I'm also going to challenge you a little bit. There was parts of your life that doing that made you feel good,
Oh, it made me feel
needed, loved,
needed,
whatever.
needed
Yeah.
love. Oh, absolutely.
There was times where that was
No, this is the world I created.
what I'm suggesting to you is that there's a season of that was the right thing for you.
I'll challenge you on the right thing. It was the pattern I created.
Maybe, and we can potentially cut this out, but what I'm trying to say is there's seasons of each of our lives that I can look back and say, ooh, I wish that would have been different. And at the same time, those different periods, and I was like, oh, I thought I was doing the right thing. That felt really good for me.
But how about we also look at it this way? Instead of saying, I wish I had done it differently, that I'm appreciative of those spaces. I don't look at them with resentment or anger because they've gotten me here.
Hmm.
I talk about the first half of life, second half of life. Those were my construction years. Those were the years that I was creating my thought processes, how I move in the world. So I had to create those. I had to create them, whether they were good, bad, or otherwise, they were created. And now I'm in a different spot.
Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing, just different ways. So,
Absolutely.
how have I shifted in the last 5 years, and how's that made you feel?
You've shifted a lot more away from, you still work more than I think you should, but I'm also realizing that you truly love what you're doing.
I do.
So I have to not place my ideas of how I want to spend my time on you because this is how you want to be. But you have moved away from the accolades giving you so much validation. Like just the other day, like we talked about earlier, you're all in on AI. It really energizes you. I'm really in on it too. I'm not nearly as far down the road as you, but I'm seeing its applications. I'm seeing its tool in our future. I'm also knowing it is here. We need to get on the train and start understanding it. It also really makes me passionate about making sure women are involved in it because I could get into the nerdy part of it, but we have to be part of the shaping of how the LLMs gather information. By us interacting with it more, it only is better for women, for people of marginalized communities. I could go on, but that's another episode.
Right.
But like the other morning, you woke up, I think it was 4 or 4:30, and you had all these ideas, and you went out and started working. And when you do that, my first reaction is often, golly, can you just not relax? But I'm starting to realize that isn't stressful for you.
No, it was an awesome
It's
day.
energy giving for
Yeah,
you.
it's actually the opposite. When I have an idea in my brain and I can't put it out there, that's
Well,
frustrating.
part of it was that you had gone to bed working on something and you couldn't figure it out. And you, in your sleep,
If my
you found the
yeah, my
answer.
brain told me.
Yeah.
Well, so that's about work, but what about me as a parent, or more importantly to me is how about me as your husband?
Well, I'll do the parent thing first. We were out with some friends the other night talking similarly about this, and you were talking about how much more chill or how chill you've become.
I have become chill, and you said I wasn't. I have.
No, I didn't say you have become more chill, but before you were super not chill.
Okay.
So you are chiller.
Okay. No, I will. That probably is more accurate. Yeah.
But that was pretty funny. I was like, what? You're not, what are you talking about? You're not chill. But you actually, in reality, you are far more relaxed and don't get up in arms as much as you used to.
Just I don't want to be in that energy flow.
No, that is a bad flow to be in. To be in a space where things are going wrong, I say in quotes, with your children. You don't agree with their decisions and you don't come at it with anger.
Or an agenda.
Well, I do have an agenda in that I want to help better their situation, but I don't do it prescriptively anymore. I do it more with questions. I was just reading in our Stoics this morning. Did you read the Stoics this morning?
Well, I was going to say, I think we both approach things more in our life with curiosity than we ever have.
Curiosity, and the Stoics were talking today about the best way to convince someone of change is to demonstrate the self-interest in the change.
Hmm.
Not shame, not negative, but hey, look how this will better your life. That's so much more transformative than, hey, change so I'm not mad at you anymore.
Yes.
We're getting real deep.
We are. How about me as a husband?
Well, you really want to hear about that,
I
don't
do.
you?
I do.
I feel like our marriage is at such a positive space because I have changed drastically, but not like unrecognizably, but a lot of things that in past years would have made you very uncomfortable. In that, I'm a lot more independent. I'm doing things on my own a lot more. And meaning, like, this is an example. I've taken up golf. I love it. I found a bunch of girls that play. So I'm like, oh, I'm going golfing today. And in past years, that would have made you feel left out or that I'm not making time for you.
Yeah.
And now you are encouraging me to continue to do those kind of things, to find time to go out and do those things, and to, like, for us not working together. We've talked a lot about for so many years, we worked together. So we were very enmeshed in our daily lives on every level. And now I have a separate job that is giving us space to grow and be able to talk about those kind of things. So I feel like your level of support of me is substantially higher. It's not that I ever unsupported, but I would feel like I needed to manage some of your emotions about what I was doing.
Hmm.
But now I don't feel that ever. I'm not worried. And I don't say that because I don't care. It's because you don't react in that way anymore.
Well, and when I do have hurt feelings or I'm upset, I'll just come to you.
Yes, it's
I'll
straightforward,
just be like,
not
hey,
a
I feel this way because of X, but thank you for that. So we're going to have a future episode about our faith journey, but over 60% of Americans report shifting their spiritual beliefs after age 50. I think we started shifting probably in the mid 40s. But how do our evolving beliefs shape the way we parent, partner, and work, and in this new stage of our parents?
Ooh, this is an interesting. I feel like this is so big that it's just such a shift. I just don't get worked up about the small things anymore.
Yeah, because again, we started this episode talking about
But okay,
the,
Mike, that's so funny. I say that, but yet I was that upset about grocery shopping. So I'm kind of contradicting myself.
no, I think you're recording a show where we haven't processed that part yet of how we're going to do that, how you feel about it.
Yeah. But as far as my faith goes, I just think God is so much bigger than my first half of life faith ever could comprehend.
I agree with you, and we definitely should dig into that. I think for me, we fell into the rhythm or expectation that we would go to church every Sunday and be involved in
We
all
would
these.
check the
Yeah,
boxes,
we do all these things, and our kids would go on mission trips, and all of those things
which
are.
are great.
No, I'm not dissing any of those things, but that just isn't a mandatory fixed structure in our current life activity as a family.
Well, to just talk about it real blatantly, we are not currently going to church in
Right,
a building,
right. But we have church every morning.
but I have church every day, all day. I'm just not attached to corporate worship.
Right. I do miss it sometimes.
I just think it's a habit I'm unlearning.
So another new part of our life is also as our kids are getting older and we're learning how to have a relationship with them at this new adulthood. Our parents are also continuing to age and evolve in life. And your parents had a big shift.
Yes.
So they went from living independently at their own home to being in an independent nursing home. They have their own,
Retirement community.
sorry, retirement community. Yes.
But that happened quickly. My mom fell in early November of 2024, and by February or March, we had them moved in to independent living in a retirement community.
Yeah.
And that was tough
Yeah. It's
because
definitely a big change for them.
for them, and
Yeah.
then us having to figure out how to talk with them about this stage, have empathy for the amount of change it was, but also expressing our thought that this was the most responsible thing to do. And along the way, there was caregiving to do. They needed help
Right.
and how to manage all of that in an appropriate way.
Yeah. And then my parents, I have my mom, my dad, and my stepmom. They're all in different stages of,
Health.
yeah, just trying to live each day as healthy as they can. And that's a change too, right? There's more care needed.
Yeah, and we are not sole caregivers to any of our parents.
No.
We're not, and there are some families or people in our stage of life that are that,
Yes.
and we are not. And I'm grateful that our parents, all of them, are still able to do a majority of it on their own. But I also know that there's possibility of a time where that's not going to be the case.
Yeah. So there's just lots of interesting things, and we just wanted to share that with some of our listeners as we've talked about different stages of life and think about this year. Our parents have had things impact their life. We've changed jobs. We've had kids graduate and come back home, and then just the everyday world
Oh,
that we navigate. So there's a lot of stuff happening. So in reality, every season will continue to stretch you. And I think what's really valuable, what I'm learning, is just to approach each day with openness and curiosity as much as you can. So I'll ask you this question. What's one way you think each of us is being stretched right now?
I'm being required to learn a lot more at this stage. Really learn, having to study things and learn things for my job. I'm learning. And then I also am starting to go into spaces like the AI. I want to learn about that. And I want to be able to understand it and interact with it in the world. And then also, I'm being stretched in learning about how I want to interact in the world. And that's not just thinking, that I'm reading books, I'm asking big questions, I'm having debates. And this is a new space for me personally.
Hmm.
How are you stretching?
You know how am I evolving, pushing myself?
Well, you use the word stretch right now. I know, oh, it's because you're stretching all out. I thought you were critiquing me. You were being funny.
Yeah. I think for me right now, I'm just having some, physical
Mhm.
issues. I have arthritis and I've had a couple joint replacements. I have another one in the near future, and how near that future is TBD. So that's
Which is why he's been stretching a lot,
yeah,
which is why he was trying to be
yeah,
funny.
yeah. It's funny to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
I also am just rewiring how I go about my work.
Yeah.
I'm on a team. How do I lift that team up? How do I take the things I learned from the past that I wish I did better and do them differently? And how do I continue to evolve? And then also I think with our kids, I believe I have the healthiest relationship I've had with our kids, each one of them overall.
Hmm.
Not that I can't get better with it, but really just spending time with them individually has been a real gift. All right, so we're gonna get into the quick fire questions to wrap up here. Okay. So I'll ask one and then you can ask the next one, right?
Okay.
So I think this is an easy one, but who leaves the most dishes around the house?
Quinn.
Oh, around the house. Okay, I would have said Mackenzie because in the kitchen. But you're right. You can find a bowl of cereal in the shower. You just never know.
That is true.
Yeah,
Who is most likely to ignore, oh, this is so easy, ignore the group text about family plans?
that's Quinn again.
No, it is. Well, yes, it's both boys. I think they both confessed that they have the family group chat silenced or muted.
Huh, those rascals.
But the girls, they're all in.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What's the best part of having adult kids at home?
They're just really cool people. And I am really enjoying watching them interact as adults.
Yeah, I look at this stage as a total blessing. I'm soaking up every second of it. I know we complained a little bit about setting expectations and how frustrating it is that someone can walk by garbage that's laying on the floor and not pick it up or put their dishes in the dishwasher. Those things are all true. Additionally, having them with us is awesome. And I want to enjoy this season because they can't always live with us.
That's very true.
Yeah.
What's the hardest adjustment?
You and I really got used to it being quiet at times. And I
The
think,
summer was rough.
yeah,
And it's not complaining about the kids, it's just this adjustment. We both work from home,
yeah,
and our kids had various schedules, so there's a lot going on through the day, and that was tough. And I feel like we're getting into a good rhythm now because they're all gone during the day at school and work.
yeah, yeah. So, who does laundry most consistently and completely, meaning getting it out of the laundry room?
And I'll qualify that question. I don't consider starting your laundry doing your laundry. Doing your laundry is washing it, drying it, getting it in a basket, and getting it the hell out of my laundry room.
Yeah.
Who is the most consistent? I think Jackson. I never see a basket in the laundry room of Jackson's in any stage.
No, it's true.
Well, like I've said, as we close, in the last year, I've said that parenting is working yourself out of a job, which is what I thought. But now I think I view it that really it's about shifting your job and how you think about it and being flexible because sometimes it circles back. Sometimes it's about holding space. But again, I think the best way to describe it is less fixing, fewer answers, more questions, more listening is
Yeah.
the way I would describe how to be successful in parenting adult children.
Yeah, and I think going back to the reason why we even did this post was that Facebook post you did a year ago, and then the response recently of just how things have become full circle, right? Our kids spread their wings and now they're back. And so I would just say to our audience, whether you're sending your kids off or welcoming them back or navigating a new season with your parents, remember Sarah's dad's advice, which is some of my favorite, and that's treat yourself tender.
Ah, that's such a good one. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of Running Errands. We truly love having these conversations and sharing them with all of you.
If something resonated with you today, we'd be so grateful if you'd rate and review the show. It helps more people find us.
And if you know someone who'd connect with this episode, send it their way. You never know who might just need to hear it.
We'd also love to hear from you, your feedback, your stories, or even topics you'd like us to tackle next.
You can connect with us on our personal socials, the show's Facebook page, or through the website, runningerrands.today. And links are always in the show notes.
Until next time, keep showing up, stay kind, and remember,
Life's the long run, and the best way forward is together.